As long as she gave me my house and my son, she could have anything else she wanted. These were the words spoken by a man who claimed to love his wife, even as her body lay wrapped in plastic in the trunk of his car. In June 2018, a Jacksonville neighborhood was rocked by a confession so blunt, so cold, that it seemed to defy human emotion. But behind the wild story told to a neighbor lay a calculated act of domestic terror, one fueled by a divorce that was never meant to end in freedom. Julie Ann Stewart was a woman defined by her connections. Born in Moline, Illinois, in 1976, she eventually found her home in the sun-drenched suburbs of Jacksonville, Florida. After graduating from Sandalwood High School, Julie became the kind of person who didn't just meet people, she moved them. She was outgoing, friendly, and naturally magnetic. By 1998, she had married Gerard Stewart and stepped into her most cherished role, a stay-at-home mother. From the PTA to chaperoning field trips, Julie's world revolved around her 9-year-old son. To the outside world, she was the anchor of her family. But by 2018, that anchor was being dragged into the depths of a failing marriage. In April 2018, Julie did what many feared she never would. She filed for divorce. She wasn't just dreaming of independence. She was planning for it. She made it clear to everyone that her path was set. But as Julie planned her future, Gerard was obsessing over the past. Psychologically, Gerard Stewart was a man losing his grip on control. In cases of domestic homicide, the moment a victim files for divorce is the most dangerous window, the point of no return. Gerard began begging her to stay every single day. He viewed his wife not as a partner, but as a threat to his assets, his house, and his child. His plea was a hollow bargain. Leave me everything, and maybe I'll let you leave. June 15th, 2018. Started as a typical Friday, but it ended in a standoff. It began with a neighbor hearing a confession that sounded too horrific to be true. Gerard was casually describing how he had stabbed Julie inside their home. When the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrived, they caught Gerard in the middle of an exit strategy. He was backing his car out of the garage. The moment he saw the cruisers, he bolted back inside, sparking a 3-hour standoff with the SWAT team. Inside that house, while his 9-year-old son sat nearby, Gerard attempted to end his own life by swallowing a massive quantity of pills. When the standoff ended and the boy was safely rescued, the grim reality was revealed. In the trunk of the car Gerard had been driving, police found Julie. She was wrapped in trash bags, meticulously secured with tape. Gerard told police he stabbed her 2 or 3 times during an argument, but the medical examiner found the truth was far more violent. Julie had been stabbed 13 times. The fatal blow was a deep wound to her throat, designed to silence her forever. Gerard's confession was chillingly transactional. He murdered her because he believed she was going to take everything in the divorce. To him, Julie's life was worth less than the equity in their home. The legal battle was as fractured as the marriage. Despite evidence of premeditation proving Gerard knew of Julie's plans for days, the jury could not reach a unanimous verdict on first-degree murder. To avoid a mistrial, a deal was struck. Gerard Stewart pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and evidence tampering. The man who killed his wife to keep his house and son was finally removed from both. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison. He will be nearly 90 years old before he sees the sun as a free man again. Julie Ann Stewart sought independence, but she found a tragedy. Her son is left to grow up with the knowledge that his father valued property over his mother's life. This case stands as a haunting reminder that for many women, the bravest act, leaving, is also the most dangerous. Does a 40-year sentence truly provide justice for a crime so calculated and cold? Or should the system have pushed harder for a first-degree conviction? Let us know your thoughts below.
The case of Kenny Buns.
Stop chewing stuff up. She was going to slit her neck. I want to know why he was so mean to both of us. There's a couple of times where we had this dog kennel for Outlaw so we could potty train her better, the way my mom did Cleo and Gizmo.
I just wanted to know why he treated me that way. Those were the tearful words Nadia Schwartz told investigators, painting herself as a victim of a terrifying ex-boyfriend. But while she was playing the role of a woman in fear, a gruesome discovery was being made at the Carlton Petty Bridge. Behind her stories of knives and cages lay a dark, romantic fantasy that turned a quiet Georgia. Kenneth Kenny Bunn was a man who lived in the vibrant, often misunderstood edges of life. Born on Father's Day in 1992, Kenny was a gentle soul who wore his heart on his sleeve and black eyeliner on his eyes. A fan of the emo aesthetic, he was often judged by his appearance. Yet those who knew him saw a man who left positive voice messages just to brighten a friend's day. By 2014, Kenny had found his stride, working a high-stakes job patching concrete on the sides of skyscrapers. He had his dream car, a 2012 Mustang, and a family that adored him. But Kenny had a weakness. He never judged a soul, even the ones that would eventually plot his demise. The descent began in late 2019, when Kenny met Nadia Schwartz on Facebook. The relationship was a whirlwind, but the air turned toxic almost immediately. Within 3 months, Nadia moved out and into the arms of a new man, Justin Hooker. However, Nadia wasn't finished with Kenny. She began weaving a web of lethal manipulation, telling Justin that Kenny was an abusive monster who wouldn't stop threatening her life. Psychologically, Nadia was fueling Justin's hero complex. She fed his jealousy until it spiraled into a murderous rage. By early 2020, Justin wasn't just dating Nadia. He was hunting for her tormentor, openly vowing to blow Kenny's head off. On March 15, 2020, the trap was set. After Kenny had finally told Nadia to stay away for good, she shifted tactics. She reached out with a lie of reconciliation, promising a new beginning. Kenny, ever the optimist, agreed to meet. Surveillance cameras captured them at a convenience store, the last time Kenny would be seen alive. Nadia drove him 18 miles to the Carlton Petty Bridge. In the shadows of the Conestoga River, the reconciliation met a violent end. At 9:22 p.m., 4 shots rang out. Less than a mile away, Kenny's mother, Triana, heard the gunfire and checked her clock, never dreaming she was hearing her son's final moments. The investigation unfolded with sickening speed. While fishermen found Kenny's body the next day, shot once in the chest and 3 times in the head, Nadia was already spinning her web for the police. She told investigators she dropped Kenny off at a gas station after an argument and hadn't seen him since. She detailed horrific abuse, claiming Kenny held a knife to her leg and locked her in a dog kennel. But digital evidence and witness testimony painted a different picture. Nadia wasn't a victim. She was the mastermind. She had obsessed over dark, romantic fantasies and had convinced Justin to buy a murder weapon from his cousin. Just days before the execution, the charade collapsed when both Nadia and Justin were taken into custody, faced with a mountain of evidence including the weapon and their own. Conflicting stories, the star-crossed lovers turned on each other. Ultimately, both pleaded guilty to malice murder. During the trial, the image of the abusive ex was shattered, replaced by the reality of a young man who was lured to his death by a woman he once trusted. Both were sentenced to life in prison. They will not even be eligible for parole until the year 2050. Kenny Bunn's Mustang is gone, and his voice messages are all his family has left. This case serves as a chilling reminder of how easily heroic jealousy can be weaponized by a manipulative partner. Kenny was killed not for what he did, but for the version of him that Nadia created in Justin's head. Does a life sentence with parole provide enough justice for a mastermind who never pulled the trigger but planned every step? Or should the person who sets the trap face a harsher fate than the one who springs it? Let us know in the comments.